Hey guys, Justin here with JHart Modelworks, coming to you from the garage with kind of a between project bench update stash ad. It's that kind of a video. So we are between projects. We just wrapped up the 37 Ford pickup. That was fantastic. It came out beautiful. I'm super happy with how that one came out. My last video was the final on that, and I will probably put like a link at the end. Super happy with that build. Next up on the bench is Tamiya's Ferrari 360 Spider, which is a very cool car. The kit seems pretty cool. I haven't done much with it. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. We do have a single stash ad to talk about, but first I want to talk about the heavy stuff. As you probably know by now, there have been several videos from probably all the community. This is my first video since I learned of his passing. But Terry Sr., Hobby Barn was his channel. He has passed. And you know, it's very sad. Terry was an amazing person. He was super cool. Every time I interacted with him, he was absolutely nothing but just a chill, down to earth, salt of the earth kind of guy. And he spent a lot of time supporting everyone in the modeling community. So Terry, rest in peace. I hope our good Lord has you in his hands, and I hope that he has your family as well. My deepest condolences to his family as well as to his friends that he was much closer to. People like Brian from Got Fuels, all of those guys. Jess from Scale Model Snail was close to him. So my condolences to you all as well, because you all have lost a really good friend. There is a GoFundMe that I believe one of his sons has started to help the family with his expenses. I'm going to put a link down at the bottom. Anything you could do to help them out would be absolutely awesome. Speaking also of awesome, in my last video, well, my last dash ad video, I showed you guys I had picked up the Fujimi Enthusiast Edition Lamborghini Countach Koenig Special Edition. It's not my Holy Grail. My Holy Grail is the 25th anniversary, but it is still a very cool kit. A couple of days after posting that video, I got a message on Facebook Messenger from Brandon Drescher. Brandon is also a super cool guy. We share photos a lot on Messenger. We talk. He is currently building the AMT Sand Trooper. Well, he's building the AMT Dodge Charger, the Charger that they just released recently, like a year or so ago, I think. He's building that Charger for a friend of his, but he's doing it in like a Star Wars Stormtrooper type theme. I've seen that car done in like all black and white as a Stormtrooper, but he's doing it with some tans and I think some camouflage, and he's doing some really cool stuff with it. But he sends me this message. Get back on track. Stop wandering, Justin. He sends me this message. It says, "Hey, I think this is what you're looking for." And he sends me an eBay link. So I open it up, and it doesn't say that it's an Enthusiast Series kit. And there's only like 2 photos, neither of which show the markings for the Enthusiast Series, any of the Enthusiast Series numbers or whatnot. It does have the right box art, and the listing lists a part number, like a model number, and I had to go track that up on ScaleMates, and ScaleMates said that it was the Enthusiast Series kit. This is a kit that I typically see going for like $100, $150. never less than 3 digits, usually 150 or over. $50. I was like, I probably shouldn't, but I went ahead and I have got my very last Holy Grail kit. And it is, in fact, EM38. I believe that was the first round of, because they reissued the Enthusiast series later, and they changed the number, they changed the order number, and I think the first run was EM38, and the second run was EM13. So, thanks to Brandon, I actually have my last Holy Grail kit. And unlike the Koenig edition, this is a fully molded 25th anniversary body. This is dedicated molding to this car. This is not just the 5000 Quattrovalve kit with some fender flares that you've got to glue on and putty and clean up. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just it's very cool that this is not just the same kit with, you know, some add-ons. This is in fact a different kit. I've looked at some of the sprues. Some of them look different. So there are some differences between this and the Koenig kit. And I've looked at some reviews for the 5000 QV, and the QV and the Koenig kit are pretty much the same kit, just with some added parts. This is not. This was my last Grail kit. I have no more Holy Grail kits. There's other kits on the list, but nothing that, you know, a Holy Grail kit is that kit that you're always searching for, you know. Like I've said before, even when you're looking for something else, you still go and you check, you know, eBay, or, you know, you're on Model Roundup and you're like, maybe they got something in their old kit section, you know. You're always looking for it. Well, I found it thanks to Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. You're super awesome. That's very cool. Also super freaking awesome and very cool, I got an email today, because I got that kit in, I believe, Monday of this week. This is Thursday. And I got an email today from Kyle at RKD Speedworks, I believe is his channel. I'll put a link to his channel down below as well. And it says, hey, I've got something that's headed your way. And I'm glad that he emailed me first before he shipped it. But he had found and picked up, I'm pretty sure it was the EM13 version. It had different box art to it. But he had grabbed the Enthusiast Series version of this kit as well. Apparently he found someplace with a really good deal. And I was like, oh no, dude, I just got one. So it's cool that he emailed me before he shipped it, because I was able to save him from, you know, shipping that out. So now he's got one as well. But it was still super cool, Kyle, that you thought of me enough to grab a kit for me that I was hunting for. That's cool, dude. My buddy Diedrich this weekend is going to be RiverCon in Louisiana. I've got so much going on. I've never done an out-of-state show. Everything I've done has been down here in, you know, the DFW area. Every now and then Diedrich's like, hey, I want some of your cars. I'm going to a show. I want to take some of your cars, fill out the paperwork of the forms, give me the money. I'll go enter them for you. And he's taking several of my cars to RiverCon. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we do good. We'll see what happens. I wish I could be there so I could just hang out. I mean, it would be cool to go. Sometimes, you know, you go to shows in different areas and they're, you know, they may have different vendors with different kits and stuff. It would be really cool to meet different people as well. I would love to go to something like Acme, where all the YouTube guys go. It would be cool to meet up with some other YouTubers. You know, that would be, you know, Mark Batson and Brian and, you know, BGE. Maybe some Lucas C. Who knows, you know? But one of these years, not this year. We also just finished refinancing the house. We signed all the closing paperwork on that. That's... It is a step in the right direction, though. That's going to give us the money that we need to repair the foundation and take care of all of that. So, still stressed, but we're moving forward on that. Other than that, not a whole lot's going on. I've kind of played with the Ferrari a little bit today. I had to take off work to do the closing paperwork, so I had some time. And I haven't done much. I will have an unboxing video coming out that's probably going to come out next week, unless Chris finishes up his GT40, in which case next week I will have my GT40 final. So I know you guys have been waiting to see the final on the GT40. I've been kind of waiting to show it to you. It is super cool. I love how that one came out as well. I love the green. The green is it's a very nice green, that Lamborghini Verde Hermes. So on the Ferrari, we've just been playing. We've mocked up the chassis a bit, cut off some of the supporting pieces, like the little supports that come up here, and there's like one on the chassis. This panel that I was talking about for the under tray, it does not glue in place. It actually holds in place, so that is cool. So you can actually paint that up black and still have it removable and still be able to see all your engine detail. And I told you guys I was going to work on a body kit for this, and I wasn't going to try and go really crazy with it. I wanted to be just something to give it a little bit more of an aggressive stance. So I have, and like this is a prototype. This is not the final. I'm not quite happy with it. It's also warped because I pulled it off the supports under hot water before I cured it, which is how I usually do things, but this is very thin and they warped considerably. But as you can see, it's not super duper huge and flashy. It's just going to be very kind of mild. But what it is going to do, because I've got a couple of magnets dropped to the inside of the chassis. I have two on each side. I'm going to put a third one back here because my prototype, I only had like one on the front end and one in the middle, and it didn't support well. It was very floppy on the back end, which probably would clean up after curing it. These will become far more rigid, but I'm just a little worried that they won't be straight. So I have made some modifications. I'm going to add in a third magnet to the back, but the goal is going to be that I can just take and drop that on, and it'll give it just a slightly more aggressive look. Not anything major, just that little something extra to stand it apart from, you know, every other Ferrari 360 out there. Just that little something special, you know. I have some really cool seats that I have printed up. Those are really nice. These are actually, I believe they're supposed to be Bugatti seats. And I went ahead and stuck a Cavallino pony on there so they'll look more like Ferrari seats, but I really like that pattern, and it's going to lend itself very well to the color scheme that I'm planning on doing. So there's that, and we've got some really cool wheels planned for this kit. I forget what they are. I know they're Vossens, but I forget which model Vossens these are. So those printed out super clean. I test fit them on the tires. I scaled them to make them fit the tires, and then I had to actually take them into Blender and modify the file themselves. If you want a wider tire and you're doing 3D modeling, a lot of guys will take the tire or the wheel and they'll just drop it in their slicer and they'll spread it out on the Z-axis to make it taller. The problem is that when you do that, you're stretching everything from the center out. And that changes the angle of, as you stretch this out, it changes the angle of things like these spokes. So what you end up with is your front wheels may have an angle like this, and then because you stretch them out really far, your back wheels have an angle like that, and they look bad. So what I like to do is take a wheel into Blender, and I grab all the points for this back edge, and I pull the back edge out. And by doing that, it widens just the barrel without making any changes to the face. So everything stays in that same proportionate face and it still looks right. That's my tip for the 3D guys who are doing 3D parts and want to modify your width on your tires, is just take it into Blender, grab the back in edit mode. You got to be in edit mode. Grab all the pixels for that back edge and just pull it. Oh, if anyone has the Fujimi Ferrari F430 Scuderia kit, it's a red box with a Rosso Corsa red car, but it's got these silver stripes that run up the center of the car, and they taper down to like nearly a point right around each side of the prancing horse hood ornament. If anyone has that kit and a scanner, I could really use a scan, like a full-size scan of that decal sheet. I want to use those stripes on this car. I want to do them in a different color, so I'm going to mask them off and paint them. But I would really love to have those decals to use as a template for making my paint masks. So if anybody has the Fujimi F430 Scuderia kit and a scanner, if you could scan the decals and email me, my email is in the list below. It is jhartmodelworks@gmail.com. I would be greatly appreciative. That will make making the masking template so much easier. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, I am playing with the Ferrari. There are these little inserts that you got to glue in for these little front air vent type deals. I've got those glued in. They are not sanded down. I definitely want those sanded so that they're more flush. There's a small seam where they connect that you can see, so I want to clean that up. You also need to, or at least I will glue on these side skirts. You don't have to have them off in order to assemble the car, so I'm going to go ahead and do that so that I can paint these all as one piece. And those side skirts include this back end of the wheel well. The other thing that you need to glue in is the actual facing for the back side of the body for the interior tub. This is all gets glued in as well. And then you kind of mask off certain parts for your rubber trim. But this way, by doing it this way and getting everything glued in, when I go in and I finish doing my prep, I'm going to do my panel lines, which don't need much. These panel lines are nice. But when I go in and I clean up my panel lines, I'll clean up the trim around, because that's what really needs to help, is the trim around these windows so that you can come back in and mask them and do them in the black rubber. But I'll clean everything up, and then when I go to paint it, I can hit all those parts at one time with the color, and it'll come out a lot more even than trying to spray all the parts individually. That's going to be a wrap for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate absolutely every one of you. Again, anyone who can help contribute to the GoFundMe for Terry, that would be super awesome. And thank you as well to Brandon and Kyle. You guys are both super freaking cool. I appreciate you as well. Thanks for hanging out with me. I always appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you on the next one.